Hi, my name is Patricia Rawlinson. I'm with Creative Arts Lifestyle, and today I'm going to share with you how to use masks or stencils to create 3 different kinds of pansies and their leaves. So what's neat about this technique is that we are going to lay this over and use it as a stencil and base coat, and then each of the different petal sections has a different mask so that I can do some dry rubbing, quick scumbles. Each of these flowers took 10-15 minutes to get from start to finish, so it makes everything super fast. You could do, bands around a box. You could do, any kind of project that you want, and it goes really, really, really quickly. But we wanted to give you some recipes to do. So we've got all 3 recipes step by step, and we've got corresponding visual learning guides as well, so that you can see the steps unfold. Hope you enjoy the lesson. Okay, I'm getting ready to do my leaves, and I'm going to use my Jumbo Dauber and some Hauser Medium Green. These work best because they're domed like that, so you don't get the bleeding under. And I start in my middle, and I get the middle. So, ooh, hi. I'm pushing my stencil, and I'm making a mess. Hang on just a second. Okay, I'm going to tape my stencil down, and then I can pat without moving my stencil around. You reload, and then always just tap off on your either a paper towel or your palette. Alright, so now we're going to get the shading done on our leaf. I'm going to leave these stencils actually are acting a lot more like masks than they are stencils. Like when you fill in a hole like that, that's a stencil, but now I'm protecting my background, and that's a mask. So I'm going to get some shadow in here. I'll start in the back a little bit wider than I would, and I'll get smaller, graduate. And I want to have it have a little bit of a bend. Wide at the back. Okay, and that gives us a little bit of our center vein. Alright, and then we'll get some coming out sides here. Okay, so I've got a little bit of olive green, and we're just going to go right on the tips where I didn't, and we can go actually all over the edge of the tip, keeping it right up next to the edge. I love painting with masks because you can use this dry rubbing technique that is super forgiving for anybody at any skill level. It is one of my favorites. And it just adds shape and form so quickly. Okay, and then if you think anything's too dark or you don't like something, you can just go kind of over the edges or the tips or whatever if you want to. Okay, let's see what we think. Yeah, I think that's a pretty acceptable leaf. Alright, then we'll take our mask away, and I'll get into with my short bright, I'll get into olive green, and then let's just go ahead and give a little bit of glazed edge. Maybe your tip. I'll walk that out just a little bit. Has a little bit of extra too. Just kind of here and there. And I think there we go. Okay, basing our pansy is going to be the same way as the leaf. And we just get close to the edge with, and then I'll dry it and I'll reposition my stencil. Okay, as you're laying your your other pieces, your other masks down, there's a small etched line that is exactly the same shape as this, and it's that way on all of these little guys, so on these other layers, so that you can see exactly how, if you keep it upside right and you don't flip it over, then it'll exactly fit. And sometimes, depending on your, I've got my 3 samples here on a piece of scrap. On this particular one right here, I wanted to have that yellow edge on my thing to get that ruffled look, and even on my pink ones it had that too, and the purple one it didn't. So I actually moved my my mask down a little bit to optimize that, and I'll talk about that when I do that flower. So you can intentionally and unintentionally do some misaligning, and it works out pretty good. So I'm going to get that back there, and I'm looking at my front to make sure that I've got it all masked exactly where I want it. Just move my tape. I just keep reusing the same 2 pieces. And then we're going to get that base coated. Okay, we're going to base the back petal with dioxazine plus Quinn Violet. And that's black. Oh, there's my Quinn Violet. Okay, and the Quinn is, and I'm going to pat over, let's get you out just a little bit more, whoops, opposite direction. Okay, so the Quinn Violet, or the Quinn colors, are the DecoArt Media acrylics, and they have no pigment, and, well, they have all pigment and no filler, and the filler is usually what makes colors, you know, white or gray or whatever, and it also makes them muddy. So these are pure and vibrant, and I love them for these glazes and stuff, and it just makes the mixes just wonderful. Okay, so on the back, I'm going to go ahead and just stipple. You can also do a little dry rubbing kind of movement. And you have a larger area. I'll hit that with the blow dryer, and then I'll base it one more time. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry rub this real strong, and I added just a touch of black in my mix. I'm going to do this real strong on the back side, and then as I'm walking into the middle, I'm going to leave that little bit of purple haze kind of going on right there. Okay, and I lift off my stencil. Now, what if I got that like that, and I don't want that to be that way? Well, I can just go up there and grab that. I didn't line it up quite as perfect as I thought. And then I can just go up here and just get rid of it. And if I think that I don't want to stencil it, I could go into my background color and just trim like that. Okay, I've put my mask back on, which sounds really funny, but you understand what I mean. And I'm going to dry rub my paint off my brush using a dome or a crescent brush. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to pretend like this isn't there, and I'm going to go right over it, and then I'll just go back and just patch that. And then this is a little black petal that gets just a little hint of stuff going on. Okay, so I'll rub everything off. Okay, and then we're going to go right at the edge of everything, and I don't, yeah, that would make a difference. Go right at the edge of everything, and then just really fade it as it's coming into this middle area. And I realize I'm being a little bit silly right now because I'm on the wrong layer. So I'll go over here. Forgot we have these little guys. Get those laid out. Take them down. Okay, and then that's what's neat about this is going to give me this band right here, so it masks out areas that I don't want to miss with on the other part. So this piece is that part right there, and anyway, it allows me to go all the way around this petal without being in this area. Okay, so we'll get that. Go around there. Real soft. That middle keeps its color. Alright, we're going to go in with, I've got my Raphaël liner, which is really the brush you want when you want really nice lines. And I'm going to go in and pull in shape following lines. So I'm going to bend and lead everything into this middle right here, this bullseye. We'll go ahead and add just a little bit more, either blue or purple, just kind of playing with where things are on your palette. And then I'll go ahead and add a few more. Nice and loose, coming from the outer edge. And we're going to tone these down just a little bit as well. Oops. Okay, spinning this board around. So see that straight shot right there? I don't like that a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and just rub that out, get rid of it. It's too straight. Probably couldn't make a line that straight if I wanted to, on purpose anyway. Okay, and now I'll go ahead and I'll repeat again for fullness. Okay. Okay, and if you feel like you need it, you can take your wisteria and you can totally go over the edges of those. If you feel like they're a little bit harsh or they're just too strong or anything like that. And bring that wisteria kind of climbing down into our flower petals. And so that's just going to blur things just a little bit. If you need to clean a brush and not have it be wet all day long, you can use some hand sanitizer. And you just go in to hand sanitizer and just blot it off on your paper towel. Oh, that's funny. So it's got alcohol in it, and I've got yellow that's been dried in this brush, and it's removing the yellow. I didn't use it with yellow, I used it with purple. Anyway, and if I set that off to the side, it will dry pretty darn quickly. Okay, I'm going to use this handy dandy short bright brush for controlled floats. So I'll come over here and I'll have my dioxazine purple. And maybe diox with a teeny touch of blue, which just was a lot of blue just then. I'll go ahead and blend that out. And then I'll come over here on my pansy and I'll just glaze that outer edge. And that sinks everything in together. If I need to, I can bring that in all the way around. And I'll repeat on the other petals. Okay, now that we have that floated once, now let's go and give it some glazes. So we can go into our Quin Violet, some purple. So I'll mix Diox and Quin. Okay, we can give that just a little bit. We can deepen and strengthen. Okay, I think we like that. I can do a little bit over here as well. Don't want to do the same thing everywhere because then it's not as interesting. So now I'll just go into purple or the Diox. And I'll go up here and just really go at it. going to bring those blues and purples in, and I think I like the idea of going a little bit blue down there. The neat thing about pansies that I discovered is there are so many colors of pansies that you really can't go wrong with your colors. You can just make it all up. Okay, so maybe we'll give a little bit of the blue over here, a little bit over here, a little bit crawling up into our other color. Then I'll go and switch out and go over to Diox. You want to use not a whole ton of water when you're doing this. It'll turn out much prettier in stronger colors. Okay, and then you assess, do I like those colors placed like that? Sure. Okay, strengthen that back guy and get all the way to my edge over here. Okay, with our mask back in place, I'm going to take my cad yellow and I'm going to start at this point right here. I'm going to bring this out pretty far into my purple areas. Just kind of overlapping. And then I'm going to pick up my Hansa yellow, which is one of the media acrylics, and watch how much this intensifies this color. It's just amazing. Like that's yellow on fire, if you will. Just so much more intense. Okay, love, 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 love. Then we'll switch out to our other two. Actually, I'm going to blow dry that for a second. And then these two are going to be a little bit lighter, so we're going to go into Banana Cream, which has got just like a lot of white in it. And we're just going to gently, softly Banana Cream that. Okay, let's see how those are different. Okay, in the world of pansies, what I've noticed, we have these are the finishing bits. And notice you've got big ones and you've got little ones, big ones and little ones. You can decide if you want to do, like we could have done our yellow with this stuff, but the pansy I was looking at in the picture was very soft and faded, but if I wanted some of that really hatchy kind of edges, I could have used this overlay. So now I'm at the part where I'm looking at, so I'll get those two lined up. I'm going to add our little middles. Okay, and that's going to be a little bit of soft black. Okay, so we have a little bit of soft black with a little bit of Quinn, just to warm it up. Okay, and so we'll just go ahead and stipple that. Probably go ahead and do 2 coats for coverage. Okay, so we're going to go into our cadmium yellow, and I'm just going to draw out a little bit of extra bearding, or whatever this stuff is called, these little lines there. And you want it kind of a little bit irregular. You don't want it all the same. You don't want them all the same length. Okay, and you might have to go ahead and give it like a couple coats. It might not cover the first time. And then just for interest, you want to go into your warm white, and with kind of heavy paint, you want to go ahead and give yourself a little kind of shaky, weird line here of the white. And it's kind of heavy paint. And just a little bit of bend and wiggle. I've got a lot of paint on the end of my brush, just to kind of give it that irregular look. Okay, and there's your pansy. It took about, what, 15 minutes. Okay, our little pink pansy is going to have some soft heather and royal fuchsia, dry rubbed. So I'm just going to mix those two together to form a nice soft pink. Dry rub it off. And we're going to do all of the petals back, except for this front one that gets done a little bit differently. I'll show you that one next. So we're just going to just dry rub on the back edge with a little bit of that color. I'm going to lay this one right back on top. And I'm going to get that back edge of that one right there. It's just kind of your little extra petal back there. Okay, see how that gives us 2 petals? And then these guys get the same thing. And we'll go into those 2 colors. And I'll do, what's neat is now I can bring that color around the edge, and that'll leave that one white right there, and it'll leave this area white. Works out really well. Okay. Okay, rotate. Look at this guy. The other thing about dry rubbing is it dries really, really quickly. So you don't have to worry about, whoops, oh, that's our different one. See, spit and erase. Okay, this one goes a little bit differently. It's going to be big here in the middle. Walk out a little bit, and then it walks out down to here. I don't know why it does that. I just was looking at a picture, and that's what I'm painting is from the picture. Okay, so we have our first layer. Okay, next we get into a little bit of the royal fuchsia. And here's what we're going to do is we're going to, where the stencil kind of dips just a little bit, we're going to dry rub some royal fuchsia to indicate ruffles. Okay, see how that just made that just nice and a little bit ruffly. Okay, that'll give you your highs and your lows. And then we're going to repeat that same way on our other these 2 little guys right here. Alright, before I glaze, I also want to just darken the outer edge with a little bit of that royal fuchsia. Maybe bring it into the middle just a little bit more. Okay, and I like that that makes 3 distinct petals. Alright, I've got some thinned royal fuchsia plus a very little touch of soft black, and we're going to add some little lines. Not sure why that's not coming off my brush here. And kind of like longer in the middle. That'll help with the illusion that there's folds there. And kind of pointing inwards. So they kind of come to a little point there. You could have some other ones scattered in and out. See how that's getting a little bit kind of scallopy. Okay. When you Google pansies, you'll see so many different kinds of varieties. It's just really cool. I have a couple little extra lines here and there. See what we want. Alright. Alright, we're going to use our Short Bright and Quinn Magenta. Look at the brilliance of that pigment. Like, that is just amazing. Okay, so we are going to make the side ones much more so than the back ones. Just going to draw that in just a little bit. We can get a little bit of a shade going all the way around, but those are just drawn in. Okay, and then we can have just a hair Just a little cheesy little glaze of that. I want that back petal to be a little bit different than the side petals. And I think let's go ahead into a teeny touch of Quin Violet. And let's just kind of drama those up just a little bit. Just doesn't take but a touch. Okay. All right, I'm going to lay my mask over, and I'm going to get into some cad yellow. Whoa, I got into like a pile of cad yellow. Don't need that much. And I just want to go ahead and just in this middle area, just bring that out. I'll do the same thing here. Okay, and that just gives me that, we might need a little bit of that Hansa. Okay, and now we'll go, while we've just got everything, camera going and everything else, we'll go ahead and put our little center things on with our mix, which was a little bit of the violet, not that color, the Quin Violet and soft black. And I think that's actually the wrong colors. Okay, we are purple pizzazz and dioxazine purple. So get over there, grab some diox. I don't know that I mind having a little bit of that stronger down at the base. Okay, and then we'll get our bottom little beardy poo. Same thing. See what we think about that. Yeah, I think that works. Alright, we just need to extend our yellow bits out as far as we want them, if we want to extend them. It's kind of heavier there. And then if we wanted to, we can put just a little bit of our green in the middle. Let's change that green. If I can get that green out. So just pull that in. Just a little bit of green. Alright, we're going to take, on our orange pansy, we're going to take our cadmium yellow, and we're just going to cadmium yellow the whole blasted thing. But the neat thing is you want to have that warm white underneath, because that helps the cadmium yellow not look green on top of black. So you need the warm white anyway. That's just going to be our whole background. So we're going to handle this one a little bit differently with streaks. So you'll see where we get to in just a minute. So, and then you want to make sure that you get all your edges, because this is the one that we're really going to leave ruffles. So make sure if you didn't quite get it yellow, you go back and snag it. Okay, so I've got my back petal on, and I've lined it up so that it should have a little bit of that edge showing. I'm going to go into Spiced Pumpkin and a little bit of Quinacridone Gold. And that's going to be my background color. And I'm going to leave that little bit of yellow right there. So I'll just go all over my background. And then as I get down near that yellow area that I want to leave, I'll just kind of streak towards it. Okay, then I'm going to go right on top of that with my russet, I believe. and I'm using a Patty's Favorite Dry Brush brush, and I'm going to streak in some rough lines. Okay, and then I'm going to go into my Cad Red hue, and I'm going to just pick up a little bit on my brush, and I'm going to go, ooh, hi, that's a little bit more than a little bit. I'm going to mix a little bit of my spiced pumpkin in with that, and I'm going to just tint the edge of that with that Cad Red. Okay, and see how we have that little exposed ruffle right there. Alright, so I'm going to add get my two middle ones done. Put that on there. And I'm going to, once again, want to leave a little bit of streaks. I'm going to add it over there on this side. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll treat these like two separate petals. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We want to just cut into our red. So we are going to just sort of just cut in, kind of to indicate ruffles a little bit. And then once we get done, that's, oh, and the colors that we have are burnt orange and Cad Red hue. Then we're going to go on to the edge, like almost like a base coat, and just kind of just feather that out just a little bit. I'm just using the tip of my brush and allowing that to feather out. And we can bring it around. Bring it in a little bit more. And if we want it stronger, we can do that too. I hope every bit of that was on camera. Okay, if that wasn't on camera, then I'll try to put this one on camera. So, here we go. We're going to have our burnt orange and Cad Red hue mix. And I'll flick on my paper towel, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just chisel into the middle, and I'm going to change my angle according to where I'm at on the petal so that it's all pointing into the middle a little bit. And then I'll use my brush and just feather in. Try to get my hand out of your way. It's the hardest thing filming like this. And we'll feather that in. Oops, I feathered in too much. And make that a little bit more solid until we like what it looks like. Okay, so then that's how we treated both of those. Now I'm going to come down here to the bottom. And the bottom is a little bit different. Okay, our placement of the bottom ones, the bottom streaks, is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to come in here with the chisel edge of our brush with that burnt umber and Cad Red and flick on a paper towel. And then we're just going to go ahead and not go all the way out to the edge. And we're going to do it lighter and scumblier. Okay, and bring that a little bit further. A little bit further. Now we want to undulate the edges, so I don't want them all exactly the same. I'm going to have that dark down here, so I'm not worried about that area. Go and just maybe a little bit stronger. Okay, and then we're going to go into a little bit of our spice pumpkin. And we're going to just go right over the top of these areas to orange them up just a little bit, tangerine them up, and block out any white areas that we have. There, see how that looks a little bit different. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and just grab some of those colors that I was using and just go ahead and give this petal up here just a little bit of something going on. And I don't know if I'm a fan of how far that is up there, how far away. I'm going to just bring that in just a little bit more. Add just a little bit more of a red. Maybe even glaze a little bit of red there. Maybe even there. And just a little bit of touches of things. Okay, next we put on our little mask. I kind of think they make these things look like monkeys. Alright, so we're going to go into that guy. I've got my brushes in a plastic bag with a little bit of a wet sponge. And that way they don't dry out on me while I've been working on the recipes for these things. Okay, so then our dark is the soft black and Quin Violet. And then the bottom one is as well. Alright, we're going to just take a little bit of our warm white, and I think just right here on some of these edges I lost them just a little bit. I'll find them again with my warm white, and then maybe over here where we have that kind of stuff going on we can scallop in just a little bit. Okay, and you could do that with reds, you can just totally customize as you want. Okay, and then we're going to bring our white stuff, and we have one more float of soft black so that my flower doesn't look flat. And so what we'll do is we'll go kind of over the eyebrows. Turn my piece, always turn your piece so that you can see where your float is coming from. And we'll shade as well underneath. Get on the right petal. I can't decide who's on top, but I'll go ahead and do this one because that's what my sample was. And so now it doesn't look so flat.